spoken. Velvet voice.
Slide on in. You are now tuned to the Black Deth 101 podcast, where the streets talk and the reels roll. This is more than a Candy Tangerine podcast, baby. It's a revolution with rhythm. Now let's get into it.
Welcome to the Black Deth 101 podcast, where the streets talk and the reels roll. We dissect our favorite blaxploitation films that saved Hollywood and still influence it today. I am your host, Nubius Black, and giving him 5 on the right-hand side, my brother from another mother, Johnny Deth. What's up, man?
Hey, Nubius. It's a beautiful day out, but that day will turn to night, and tonight, baby, we are cruising through Los Angeles, the mid-1970s, where the neon hums, the streets breathe, and every man got a double life, whether he admits it or not, because this episode we be checking out the pimps and the ladies of the night walking and riding down Sunset Boulevard, and the motherfucking racist detectives trying to take down our man, the Black Baron, and his sweet-ass ride, because, that's right, we're talking about the Candy Tangerine Man.
Yeah, tangerine. That's a good wink to the color of the car, I believe, the tangerine part. Because yes, never seen this movie before. Went in there with virgin eyes, came out, turned out. Now I'm walking the stroll in blaxploitation cinema, just like the poor Indian chick in this film.
Well, he saves her twice.
Twice, and she sells him out twice.
Yep.
So with this movie, that I take it you haven't seen it either.
No, this was a first for me.
Lord knows where you got the idea from, but it popped up, and I watched this thing in amazement. Like, what is going on with this picture? I get where they're trying to say. Did they land the fucking 3-point landing? Now, I think they landed a 2-point landing, so it's entertaining as hell. But man, the storyline is bonkers as shit. So it's almost like we set off camera. You know, it's like a serious Dolomite picture. That's
Yes.
how I went into looking at it when it was done. So give them the lowdown. Tell them what this film is about. The Candy Tangerine Man. But before we get started, please like, subscribe, and share. We're starting to chug along now on YouTube. We're doing well on our Facebook pages, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can check us out on all those. Just like us, subscribe, share it. Don't cost you anything. And if shit goes wrong, we'll just send the Baron your way, and you ain't gonna want that. And you'll see him coming, because there's nothing incognito about this guy in this car in his bright white seats. So tell him, Johnny, what this film's about.
Well, dig this, Funketeers. It's 1975. Vietnam just closed its ragged curtain, and trust in the system is shaky at best. The cities feel tight. Opportunities feel tighter, and black cinema, it's still speaking, still pushing. It's looking a little more inward, less fantasy, more truth, because sometimes the story ain't about the hero. It's about the man losing himself, trying to be one. This guy, well, on weekends, he's Ron. He's a square, straight family man. This is actually kind of the first spoiler in the movie, but I ain't ruining shit, because the theme song pops on.
Yeah, the theme song tells you the whole story.
Exactly. As the best theme songs the blaxploitation so often do. It's got the spoilers in there. It tells you what's going on, because this family man, though, during the weekdays, when the sun dips low, he becomes the Black Baron, and he's riding in the Candy Tangerine Rolls Royce that was bought on the cheap. They saw an ad in the UCLA school newspaper. They got the car for $2,500, $1975, but still under 10 grand in today's ducats. and they spent $800 getting it that candy apple red and tangerine orange paint job. Flashy, smooth, drifting through the night. But yeah, don't get it twisted. This guy ain't Superfly.
No, no.
I'd say the game controls him.
Pretty much.
Yeah, before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about John Daniels, the star of this flick. He also starred in, I used to call him the Black Lou Ferrigno. Take a look at that face and see if you don't agree.
Especially with the sideburns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, let's take it right to the heart of it. Crenshaw Boulevard, South Central Los Angeles, 1966. This cat, John Daniels, he teams up with the gridiron legend, the soon-to-be blaxploitation superstar Jim Brown, and he opens up a spot called Maverick's Flat. But make no mistake, Daniels himself ran the place day to night. And opening night, he managed to score the Temptations to headline the stage. Not long after, they wrote a song about the experience of performing there called Psychedelic Shack. That's where it's at. Now, maybe they don't say Maverick's Flat outright in the song, but Cool Cats, we know it. We know that's the spirit of it, that free, electric, black nightlife. That's where this film breathes. The Baron, man, here's where reality blurs. Now, John Daniels didn't just own the club, he is the club. He steps into the film as the Black Baron. So when you see that space on the screen, when they're at that club that I think Dusty is running,
Yeah.
that ain't Hollywood. That's his world. And the man himself, he's got that big presence. As I said, he's got those Lou Ferrigno face, the broad shoulders, but also kind of a low-key, quiet authority that he walks with. He looks like he could shut a whole room down just by standing still. He moved through his era on screen too. As we said, Black Shampoo, but he's also in that Fighting from Bare Knuckles with Gloria Hendry. He's in Black Heat. He's always bringing that same grounded physical presence to any role.
It's like a quiet, boiling type of, like, he's very quiet. He's not loud and obnoxious. Because they saved that for the other pimps to be loud and obnoxious, including the mafia that's in this movie for some reason. He's got that quiet calm that's pretty disturbing when you think about it. Because when you watch it, he's not a likable person until he does nice things, kind of, sort of. And he's still like, he still doesn't seem like he's glad that he's doing these nice things to people. It's crazy. He stands there, like you said, in the club with the loudest fucking wallpaper that you will ever see. I thought I was going to start having a conniption just looking at the wallpaper, this bright red trimmed in white. And he walks in there with a burgundy fucking hat, matching tie, and little pocket square, black leather gloves. And he just walks in there, and you would think, wow, this dude is the loudest pimp I've ever seen. You'll be wrong, because the pimps in this club are louder than him. Large ass plumes of fucking flamingo feathers on their hats and all that shit. It's just an odd little get-together of where all the pimps seem to hang out at and play pool, apparently, and sell people like, modern-day slavery. But continue.
That presence, that simmering right under the surface, I don't think anything expresses that better than the opening scene of the movie where he's kind of lounging on a bed with this white hoe, and he's telling her, you work for me, and you're going to be taken care of. And he's coming across kind of like, oh, this is a good pimp. And then she says, yeah, I wouldn't mind having like a beauty parlor afterwards. And he's like, okay, bitch. He just turns on a dime, turns off the light, and says, by the way, $200 every day.
Every day.
Cut to that theme song and that Candy Tangerine rolls just cruising Sunset Boulevard. And throughout the film, you'll see, besides Dusty and the Indian girl, a lot of other hoes and some pimps in the background, maybe one line of dialogue here and there. They recruited actual pimps and hoes off of Sunset Boulevard.
And they acknowledged that in the credits.
Exactly. So where Sweetback said, to, the people of the neighborhood. This is like to the whores and pimps walking Sunset.
Who
So they're
yo,
going for
that right there,
realistic.
that was the most impressive part to me of the whole film. I don't give a damn if this film had, like, five-star acting, which it doesn't, or production
No.
values, but the fact that they acknowledge that this film is dedicated to the pimps and hoes out there and that they use legit pimps and hoes in this film. Like, I was waiting for them to say, "No hoes were damaged during the filming of this picture."
Or pimps, man. It's freaking great. And the racist cops, we've seen them before. That's Buck Flowers, whom you've seen in
Never knew that.
every John Carpenter movie, every other movie playing the guy on the street, the homeless guy. He's the guy in the fog that's saying, there ain't no, well, I can't do his voice. Let's say, there ain't no a fog bank out there. I can't do it.
That
But he's
that and
got
he
that
also he
gravel
also did
voice.
"We all sell out every day. We sell out every day. Might as well enjoy it and
Yeah.
get a piece while we're here." On They Live.
They
He was
live,
the sellout
yes.
homeless guy in that when he's talking to Keith David and Roddy Piper. So, yeah, when you watch it, again, I was looking for Buck Flower in this film because his name is on the credits. I couldn't find him until you said, "Yeah, he didn't have his beard." I was like, "Holy shit, he had teeth too."
Yes, he did. He had his teeth in for this movie. Oh, man, and you're right. There's not a lot of production values until you get to the frickin' Rolls Royce where the turn signals flip up with machine guns underneath. Bond
Crazy.
got gadgets, but
Tony
this is
Stark
street
special.
luxury. Yeah, street luxury with teeth, man.
And they
You
never
you're
really tell
totally
you
right.
where he got this car or how the car got retrofitted into being a Bond-esque type of vehicle before he goes back to white suburbia to live with his wife. And, spoiler alert, when he goes home with his wife, within 5 minutes, you're gonna go, "Oh, so that's why he's a pimp. This bitch is unbearable." His wife bitches and moans nonstop. I was listening to that shit and I'm like, "You know what? I think I need to go out there and go on a stroll and start picking me up some hoes." Because if I was married to something like that, yeah, yeah, I had to get a side job or something. I ain't saying pimping or being an assassin, but god damn, she just let him have it within 5 minutes of stepping in the door. I mean, he had a hard day's night working out there being a pimp for the fucking whole 6 days out of the week. She thinking he working for IBM. IBM, all right. And and bitches and motherfuckers, that's what he was working.
IBM, I be motherfucker. Oh, man. We mentioned the theme song, and, money runs dry on these films. There was no budget left for music. So Matt Cimber, the director, the producer, he goes to Barry White. He shows him the film. Barry digs it. Then he says, I got no money. So Barry introduces him to a new group called Smoke. They step in and they record the soundtrack on a deferred deal. They never see the money, but they leave behind something lasting. And, that theme song, it tells on the film. It lets you know early this man's living a double life. And I could dig it, man. Now, Cimber got to Sunset Boulevard into this film. He was thinking of doing a blaxploitation film and he wanted to keep it real. So he met a pimp and he started interviewing him. They had coffee a few times, they had a couple of drinks together. And he discovered, as he got to know this guy, that this pimp had never gotten past the fourth grade, but they were holding conversations on politics, on Wall Street, and investments that he thought were right up there with anyone he ever met. That's when he decided that the pimp could be an IBM tech home on weekends, living a double life. So he goes out on Sunset Boulevard. He brings in the real sex workers, the real babes, the pimps at that time. They called themselves blades because they dress so sharp. As we
Right,
said, they're
right.
not extras. They got credited. That's rare. The film shot in 10 days, loose, it's raw, unpredictable, like the city itself. And Buck Flower, as we said, credited as C.D. Lafleur, and
The flower.
Dusty. Oh, yeah, the flower. And then Dusty Compton. He's improvising his lines. He's rhyming, he's flowing, unpredictable. I think my favorite scene in the movie might be the cue ball scene. There's a point where, as you said, it's like in this club where Dusty is, that the mafia probably own. He's the front for it. Dusty's going to sell this little Indian girl, American Indian, Native American, we say now. She's cute, she's little, she screams innocence. The Baron don't want to see something that innocent turned out on the streets.
Which was kind of weird. Wasn't that kind of weird to
Yeah,
you that he is profiting off of these women's while they're, doing their thing, but he was like, "Oh, she's too new to do this, so no, I don't, I'm not down with this shit," type of deal. It just was odd to me that that was his, last stand, that he was not going for that shit. But it was okay to slap and yell at all the rest of these chicks.
exactly. And his big hero move to buy her freedom is he puts $10,000 down against her on a pool game, which he fucking loses until Dusty scratches, which for those of you that don't play pool, that means you get the cue ball in and you've basically just lost.
Yeah, you beat yourself.
So Dusty defeats himself and he goes into this fucking rant calling the cue ball a chalky honking
You white
motherfucker.
motherfucker, I hate you.
So the Baron runs out with the Indian girl, the squaw girl. He tells her to lay down, and then suddenly the fucking detectives are there. Dusty's boys are out to stop him. That's when the turn signals flip down, not the headlights, which you're going to see people say it's the headlights. The turn signals pop down, machine guns come out. He kills everybody, and we get one of those semi-inexplicable blaxploitation car explosions we love. Just pour on the gas and throw in a match. Damn. And that, folks, that's raw, uncut, 70s cinema, baby. You
And
gotta
that's the
love it.
first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Ron Brown, the Baron, the double life, this is the metaphor for a man moving between identities, between expectations, between worlds. And Funketeers, that's America, baby. And dig this. Samuel L. Jackson calls this one of his favorite childhood movies. And Cimber, the director, says that Sam's rhythm and cadence come directly from John Daniels. Now, I don't know that, but I found that when I was doing a little research. And that scene, there's a scene where he's trapped and he fucking takes one of the guys and he shoves his hand into a sink garbage disposal and turns
Chops
on
it
the
up.
incinerator. Yeah. Now, that hand in sink, garbage disposal brutality, that echoes into Rolling Thunder 2 years later. They had to have seen this because I personally risked my life going after a ring in a garbage disposal once, but there was no one there to turn it on while I was fishing it out. But I've never seen that in a movie. It happens in this. A year later, Rolling Thunder goes into production, and it's the key scene in that movie.
And you know what else is funny? When you watch it, you think you don't see that henchman ever again. That was more than enough. What was his name? Was he Vincent or was he Sugar?
He might have been Sugar because later you see him playing pool and he's got a hook for a hand.
All of a sudden he's got the fucking Enter the Dragon multi-hand deal where he can put fucking hooks on or knives or forks or whatever the fuck he wants to put on his hand, all of a sudden, and he got that overnight.
Yeah, that happened really fast. No, like he's gone.
Like, you don't know how long, maybe this was weeks going by, but again, this was filmed in how many days? So I'll give them a
10
pass on
days.
that. But it was just insane that the funny part of Tom Hankinson, who plays fucking Dusty Compton, which is a great name for a fucking pimp. He was a chicken-faced shit heel type of character who talked mad shit, especially when nothing happened to him and when the violence left the building. He was the first one to tell the hoes, "Hey, lucky I didn't get off this couch because shit would have got real." He was busy screaming and hollering the whole fucking time, covering his face and bitching out like a straight up chump. And if you look up Tom Hankinson, because I wanted to see what other films he did, I kept getting pictures of Tom Hanks. So I was
No.
like, yeah, Tom Hanks is a pimp. And when you think about it, Big. Yeah, that would be a good pimp movie, right? With the title Big. Too fucking funny.
Oh man, no, I ain't gonna front, man. I like this movie. It's messy and rough, and it's it's full of contradiction. But you know, maybe that's why it works.
I think so.
You-
If it was clean, my logical brain would say, okay, this is not bad. But being that it's so discombobulated and so fucking, they don't give you no meanwhile back at the ranch. It just jumps to it, and it's up to you in your mind to edit this film yourself. So you, so you are actually getting screen credit because you're editing it while watching it, and it's just so fucking bizarre. Like, how about the part where the Baron has a friend? I can't remember his name. I wrote it down somewhere, but he was basically like a cat burglar, and he comes across all these bearer bonds. What was his name?
Oh yeah, that's shit. What was his name? I wrote it down too.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through them. I wrote them down on a piece of paper. I do know while we were looking for the name that while I was filming this film, gas was 50 cents a gallon for regular, and premium
No.
was 55 cents. Guess what it's not now? It sure ain't 50 cents a gallon or 55 cents.
This morning it was just over $4, and just a couple of weeks ago it was under $3. I wonder what could have happened to make gas prices go up.
Lord knows. I'm trying to find this fucking guy.
Maurice! Maurice!
Maurice, right?
Yes, Eli
And
Haynes as Maurice.
yeah, you gotta. Yeah, Maurice is basically the Baron's inside man. He does all the Baron's dirty work, bailing out hoes, cleaning up after any damages are done, and being an all around cool cat who would steal like televisions and any other things that he think the Baron might need. And the Baron will usually like slide him some funds. So they got a cool little relationship going on there. Maurice just finds he breaks into a house somewhere and he finds all these bearer bonds laying around he knows nothing about. He goes, "Hey, you think these things work?" And then that becomes the second part of the film. Besides the Baron having his double life, then we switch to the second story point is these bearer bonds that are worth thousands of dollars.
250,000 in bearer bonds, and one of his girls, the one that can piss for a long time, she has a client that's a banker, and the Baron tells her, "When you're done peeing on this guy, to ask him about the bearer bonds, because he can do it." So she pees on him for a long time,
For a long
talks
time,
about the bearer bonds. Yeah, she drinks plenty of beer, and you see the Coors cans all over the room. She
that
pees on
was
him for
the
a long time.
funniest. I'm trying to look for the sign she says. She said something that was something about the fact how much he likes to be pissed on. It was this. She called him a piss freak, and his idea of an
Piss freak.
orgasm is being watered down.
He was golden like a shower. Uh,
Oh
so
god.
anyway, the banker tells her, "Yeah, we can do this. I'll do this for you, baby." But he explains to her off camera that we need a legit business. Now, the Baron, whom at the very beginning tells that first girl, "Hey, I'll set you up. You come work for me." He already set up one girl. There's a girl who got her face sliced up working for the Baron, and he set her up with her own massage collar business. Bella's the one that gives him the outcall assignments. Now, the cops, when he's out of town one weekend, they bust everyone. They bust his chicks. They all flee on him. They get out of town. They go into hiding.
Hell, they cut the one chick's tits off.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's right. They cut the one chick's fucking tits off. So the girls run out terrified. They go into hiding, and he comes back from the weekend with his wife and his kids. Bella tells him they're all gone. It's all over. He tells her, well, then it's time to get out. I need you as a business. You get 10%, 25K. Maurice gets another 25K. I take the rest, and I'm done. He tracks down his girls. He finds out what's going on. They arrange for the money, and it turns out the one telling these fucking racist LAPD detectives where he is and what he's up to was Bella, the girl he set up.
As well as that Indian chick.
The Indian chick turned on him every time. He rescued her, blew up the car, takes her to the bus depot, puts her on a bus, takes off, finds out she never got on a bus. She just went to Dusty, started working for him. So again, he sends her on her way to save herself. He manages to get the money. He tracks down Bella. He confronts her. She admits that she wanted revenge for getting her face torn up.
Her mom and sisters wanted to fucking take the money as well. And they literally gave him a fucking standstill. They was beating the shit out of his ass. He couldn't get his gun out or nothing. Then out of the blue, I guess off camera, they all cowered and ran away because he must have pulled out his gun and was threatening to shoot him. But he went outside and ran into Bella, who told her whole life story of how she got cut and then was turned into a lesbian for some reason because she got cut and she didn't like herself anymore. And, you know, that whole chestnut. But he still gave her the money.
You got to remember, the cops are on the way too, and they know where it is because it's the only, quote, the guy says nigger farm.
Yeah, this is the only nigger farm we can find. Oops, sorry.
Don't say nigger. You got to say black farm. Like,
Yeah,
at this point, that's going too far.
Right. And
we got breast cut off.
And mind you, he tells this story, the cop does, after the long chase scene around like the mountainside and these narrow cliffs and all this shit. I love the fact that the actual voices and ADR is playing in the background and it loops. You hear the same fucking conversation of, yo, man, you're making the wrong turn. You're going to hit that railing. Yo, watch out. You're going to have us killed. Yo, and it's the same shit going, and they loop it twice. Then, of course, they stop, and they're teeter-tottering at the edge of a cliff because they can't catch this fucking bright orange and red fucking Rolls Royce.
They keep trying to catch up with them by sliding down the cliff, and then they slide too fucking far.
And, yeah, they got to the edge. Literally, again, 1975. All you young cats thinking Arnold was this fucking catchphrase king. A lot of his shit was stolen from the 70s. And this is one of the lines that Arnold stole when he says to, Barron says to the crooked cops, if you give me any of the information I asked for, I'll let you go. Do you promise? He goes, yeah, I promise. I'll let you go. Just tell me what the fuck you know. They tell him what he knows. He smiles in their face. And no, mind you, they ain't helping their fucking cause by, yo, nigga, now let us out. Nigga. And, yeah, he's going to let you out. You keep calling him that.
Let us go,
goes,
nigga.
You know what? I'm going to let you go. And he takes his hand off of the hood of the car. The car goes off the cliff. Of course, it's filled with like 35 gallons of gasoline. It blows the fuck up. It's
Explosion
hilarious.
number 2.
But again, everybody, you know, at a certain age, you know, and don't know about these films, almost every catchphrase Arnold had was lifted from all these other films. It was always some brother out there with something slick to say before he did some slick shit to you. And this is one of those times. But yeah, you know, it just was like a very bizarre film for me. It did what it was supposed to do. I think they could have put a little more emphasis on the dual life.
Double life.
And the fact that he had this nosy white neighbor that kept coming over the house. And she ran into him.
She sees him.
Yeah.
She sees him as a pimp.
As a purveyor.
He looks like Ron.
Is that Ron?
Yeah, that's right. As a purveyor.
He's a purveyor. Now, jumping ahead towards the end, where the Baron turns back into his regular self. What's his name? Ron. and Ron is there and he's doing yard work. She says to him, the neighbor comes by, I was in town and I seen a guy, he looks just like you. He was a purveyor. Wink, wink. But you look much better looking than he is. And I'm thinking about the fact, her friend that was in the car, and she was like, well, that can't be Ron, but they all look alike to me. Now let's go get something to eat. I'm hungry. So answer me this question. Did Maurice die? Because it looked like he died when he died in the Baron's arms when he was like, they're out to get you. You must get out. And then he passes out and you think he's dead in the fucking end in the alleyway covered in garbage. But it ends with Maurice taking over as the Baron. Am I wrong?
I think he went back. I think Maurice was okay. I think he just passed out. And I think he gave him his 10% and he gave him the Candy Tangerine car.
And the clothes.
Pimpmobile. Yeah. Because
And
he's
what
got
did
the
he tell
clothes
that?
on.
And hold up. So the hoe he was talking to, wasn't that the next door neighbor?
Yes.
All right. All right. That was the
And there's your
that was
twist.
the best
It's
part
the
of the
neighbor.
whole movie.
The neighbor lady on the weekends is a hoe.
And she's working for his best friend.
Right. Which
thought
is why she says that he wasn't as good looking as you, because she thinks Maurice was him because he's in the car.
Right. But it's so funny that it tells you that everybody has, that duality, that even this nosy, stuck up, stick in the mud white woman on the weekends, she was a hoe. And she was hoeing for the new Tangerine Man, which I thought that was my favorite gotcha moment of the film. Everything else was basically cut and dry. You knew what you were gonna get. Anti-hero Baron. He's he's a sex machine to all the chicks and a pimp, and he's fighting against the man and other pimps. But the best part was the fact that when he got out of the life, got straight, and stayed home with his wife and kids, next thing you know, you see the white neighbor who you thought was just stick in the mud was walking the stroll, and that her pimp was actually fucking Maurice, the Baron's best friend.
Purveyor.
I thought that right there that saved the movie for me. It saved it.
It's kind of like a little bit of a twist, and it's also a little bit of a don't take this all so seriously moment.
Yeah. And a little of both, but it does still
Yeah.
the story of duality, and that everybody has, something. You know what I mean? Everybody has something. But I would have never expected it to be. First of all, I didn't think Maurice was alive. And that was a shock when they showed his face. But then when you seen who he was talking to and I want $200 every week or some shit like that he says at the end. I thought that was chef's kiss. That saved the fucking movie for me. That and that fucking car. And, because why would you want to advertise that, but that's what the pimps did back in the day. They drove those flash cars when we were talking about Superfly and all those real pimp cars and pimp clothing and real pimps in that film as well.
Yes, sir. Great stuff. And this film was shot back to back with another film which I haven't seen called Lady Coco, starring Lola Falana. I know Buck Flowers has a tiny part in it, and we're going to have to track that one down sometime in the future just to kind of close the book on this one.
Yeah, that and the fact, again, I thought that ending was great. Another line in the film was, why y'all hoes hiding? Did you hear what happened to Janet? They cut off her tits. And the other chick grabs her tits and goes, and I don't got much left, so I don't want mine cut off. I shouldn't be laughing at that shit because that was some brutal fucking shit. But yeah, that
was
motherfucker,
awful.
he got what he deserved when Baron came in there and he did his slow motion kill scene, that's another good shot. Very good cinematography for that time and era and for the money that they had. That slow mo scene where he's killing everybody that deserves to get it. That's a great scene. But
yes,
now that I'm talking about it, my ratings of this picture is going up because if it makes me laugh in a good way where all the fucking T's were crossed and the I's were dotted in this film. They didn't leave you hanging. Matter of fact, that's what the point that blew my mind was the fact that, people who you thought were dead are not dead. People who you thought were straight were not straight. And it made you go like, and the world just moves on. When he got out of the life, that life doesn't stop. It moves on to somebody else. And I could appreciate that. So yeah, you know what? This was a surprise for me. The more I talk about it, the more I dig it. Is it the 5-star frog splash? Nah, I gave it a high 3.375 with this. It was almost a 4. I would definitely like to go back to watch it again just to see Gordon, the crooked cop, and going, that is fucking Buckflower. I did not see it. And it's very enjoyable when you do shit like that. And Tom Hankinson's Dusty Compton, which is a great name for a pimp, he is so over the top that Antonio Fargas would probably blush in resentment to this film because this had like an Antonio Fargas vibe if he was available, but this dude Tom Hankinson took it and made it his own. Again, like you said, Josh Daniels had a great, quiet, simmering screen presence. The hose looked good. Dude, all right, let me ask you something before we sign off on this.
Sure.
In your opinion, because don't you think the women were sexier in the 70s than they are today? I think so.
As a man that graduated high school in 1976, hell yeah.
I mean, it's just something about them. It's like, even if when it is, they give you a peekaboo look, where it's like, oh, a nip slip here and there. It's not even that. Even with their clothes on and the way they carried themselves, it's just something way more appealing to me than today's women in film is very synthetic, if you will. Not saying that none
Yes.
of that shit happened in the 70s, but back then, them actresses couldn't afford that shit. So they had to work with what they got. And they either had it or they didn't, or they had costuming being girdles and bras and, shit like that, that accentuated the positives and covered up the negatives. I just thought the women of the 70s, man, wow. And then like the 80s came and the hair got bigger. Then the late 80s turned into the 90s. You started noticing more synthetics. If you see a natural woman in the movies today, it really makes you take notice because you go, whoa, what the fuck? Like I'm
Mhm.
throwing at you Natalie Portman, very pretty girl. It's kind of creepy when you think about it because you go, that's that same chick that was running around with fucking, Commissioner Gordon when he was an assassin. No, it wasn't Commissioner Gordon. It was the French dude,
Oh, yeah,
Jean Rene,
yeah, it's a Luc Besson movie, The
Luc Besson.
Professional.
Yeah, the professional. It's hard to believe.
Yes.
You watch that and go, oh my God, that's Natalie Portman. I'm a dirty old man. But she grew to be a very pretty girl. To my knowledge, it doesn't look like she's been under the knife. She has those creepy fucking Spock eyebrows that really make her face pop. And she's got a natural physique. And if we see a Natalie Portman film where all of a sudden she's got 38s and she's rocking a rack, it just will look so fucking off-putting. You know what I mean? And so back to the 70s chicks, man. I just thought they always looked great, especially with the hippie vibe, and they're wearing the low-cut
Yeah.
greens. And so, man, I dug that shit, and I still do. Uh, hopefully, you know, maybe it come back, but everybody now, man, they getting the BBLs and all this other crazy shit. They're turning into caricatures and not people, in my opinion. And guys, and I'm not, I don't want people to sit there and say it's just as chicks. Guys do it too, where you got guys who like won't work out, but they'll go out and get, people say the steroids just make you big, and they don't. You have to work out. But you got guys who are fucking injecting themselves with all these synthetic oils that make their muscles stand out. And for what? Because next thing you know, you're getting gangrene and you got to get amputated and all that. It's crazy. The 70s when men were men and women were glad of it. You know what I mean? That type of
Yeah.
shit. But yeah, Candy Tangerine Man, I dug it.
I dug it too. And, when you step away from Candy Tangerine Man, don't just remember the car and the club and the hose. Remember the man split in two, trying to outrun himself and finding out real quick that he can't.
He was literally leaving it just hit me. He was Candy Tangerine Man. Ron was literally living the life that our other buddy Ron, who played in the Superfly films, he was living that life the Superfly always wanted. Remember, he wanted to move out into the country or live in the suburbs and put this life behind. As you can
Mm-hmm.
tell, you can't put this life behind. It's not that easy. And this Ron proved it.
No.
He was living the same thing that Ron O'Neal in Superfly wanted to. I never thought, it just hit me right out of the blue. And
Well, what the Baron did different was he didn't try to make that final kill and then get out. He set up the getting out part before he made the final kill.
right. And he actually pulled it off.
He pulls it off, and then he lets his best friend take over, which Youngblood's best friend
Took over.
didn't want it that way. Yeah,
Right,
he
he
took
didn't.
over too, but he turned against him.
So yeah,
Maurice
that'll
stood
be
by
a
him.
really good. That's a 1-2 punch of a film for you guys if you want to see something the dichotomy. Watch Superfly, and then watch this film, the Candy Tangerine Man, and you'll see what we're talking about. But since we're talking about Superfly and we're done with the Academy Awards, and we did Candy Tangerine Man, I guess we're gonna do a couple weeks of sequels.
I think we come right back with sequel to Black Caesar, Hell Up in
Ooh,
Harlem.
Hell Up in Harlem. Great theme song. Great
Great
ADR that
movie.
makes me laugh every time I see it. Dad is a fucking psychopath in his film.
Damn good movie. And we'll be back with that one next.
Like, subscribe, share. Hit us up with some ideas. Hit us up with some critiques. We can take it. We're grown-ass men. I ain't got no orange and yellow car, but I'm still a grown-ass man. So check us out. We'll be back with Black Caesar's sequel, Hell Up in Harlem. Same black time.
Same black channel. Peace.
Peace.
Candy on the outside, but there's something deeper in the shine. You dig?
He rode through the city when the sun go down. White walls whisper not a single sound.
Chrome so bright, got the whole block staring.
But they don't see the way that he carrying.
Daytime suit, keep it neat,
Low-key,
nighttime king of a different street. Smile so
so sweet, but his eyes tell truth. Man got secrets in that candy roof.
everybody want a taste of the shine.
But they don't see the other side. Candy, tangerine, sweet on the scene. But you don't know what he's hiding underneath. Candy, tangerine, living that dream. Double life ain't always what it seems. Ooh, sugar don't tell no lies.
But a man like him got two lives. Velvet voice when he talk that game. Everybody know, but they don't say his name. Money come fast, disappear quicker. One hand clean, other hand liquor.
Mirror show a man split in two. One for them, one that nobody knew. He ride that line like a razor edge. One wrong move and he fall off the ledge.
Pretty paint, but the cracks run deep.
A man like that don't ever sleep. Candy, tangerine, on the scene. But you don't know what he's hiding underneath. Oh, real? Which one fake? How much more can one man take?
See, everybody wanna ride in the shine.
Ain't nobody asked what it cost is mine. Candy tangerine, candy tangerine. On the scene, sweet on the scene. But you don't know what is hiding underneath. Candy tangerine, candy tangerine. Living that dream, living that dream. Double life, and always what it seems. Sugar don't tell no lies.
But a man like him got them lies.
Candy tangerine.
Sweet, but it ain't clean.